I'm Romey Swanson, the Director of Conservation Strategy with Audubon Texas. I'm coming to you from Moonfire Ranch in Real County. This is one of my favorite places to be within the state. You'll likely have noticed that we've increased our social media output, and this has been, at least in part, due to the COVID-19 protocols that have kept most of our conservation staff out of the field. However, we've seen this as a great opportunity to engage with audiences that we may not have been able to touch with, and to introduce ourselves to people that may not know us. We've attended virtual symposiums and provided virtual presentations which have given us the opportunity to engage with audiences across the state. However, we find that there's never enough time to fully engage, never enough time to answer all of the questions that come up. And because of that, our team have come together to commit to a every 2-week social posting to answer all of the questions that we can. We'll bring together the experts on the Audubon conservation staff to answer your questions posted through these channels. So, I thought I would try and kick this off, this Ask Audubon Texas or hashtag Ask Audubon TX, with 3 questions that I wasn't able to get to during one of my recent presentations. Those questions were: 1. Where can I see golden cheek warbler and blackcapped vireo, 2 of the state's endangered or formerly endangered species? Number 2, how do I increase the use of my nesting boxes, whether those nesting boxes are in my backyard or on property that I own? And 3, Romey, what's your favorite bird and why? Well, let's kick it off. Number 1, there are several places to go see golden cheeked warbler and blackcapped vireo. I'll start off by talking about 2 places where you can see both. Number 1, Lost Maple State Natural Area. It's easy to see a golden cheeked warbler. A gentle hike a mile into the woods and you'll likely hear and have the opportunity to see a golden cheeked warbler. A more strenuous hike, maybe 3 miles, with a significant 200-foot elevation gain on uneven terrain, will get you to the top of the hills within the park, where blackcapped vireo nest and are somewhat abundant. Another place where it's easier to see blackcapped vireo, but not so easy to see golden cheeked warbler, is South Llano River State Park. Blackcapped vireo are quite common out there, but the golden cheeked warbler requires a little bit of a hike. It's just a moderate hike, and they are in low density out there, so you're going to have to keep an ear out. Now, there are some sites where you can't see both birds, but you can see one in fairly good abundance. Number 1, Devils River State Natural Area is a great place to see blackcapped vireos. They are thick out there. At least in my experience, they're thick out there. The other place that I would go is to see golden cheeked warbler in fairly good abundance, and that's Pedernales Falls State Park, just west of Austin. Now, question number 2, how do I attract more birds to use my bird nesting boxes, whether in my backyard or on my property? The answer to that is a little nuanced. Although providing nesting boxes is a great activity and it does fulfill one of your obligations under a wildlife management plan, if you own land and run a wildlife management exemption, not having high use of those supplemental boxes doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Remember, nesting boxes are supplemental to habitat that exists out there. We put these boxes up to supplement or to provide more opportunities for nesting if there's not many on the land. So in some cases, you may not see much use of your nesting boxes because there's plenty of standing dead timber and dead trees that have hollowed out and provided natural nesting cavities for birds. So my recommendation would be to put up as many as you feel like putting up, and to monitor them regularly, but to not necessarily get discouraged if you find yourself experiencing low use. And then secondarily, I would provide a variety of different types and sizes and designs of nesting boxes. You may have more bluebirds on your property and fewer of the woodland species, so there are specific designs to benefit specific species. So just trying to get an indication of what species you're trying to provide supplemental nesting shelters for can give you a good indication of what types and diversity of boxes to put up. And for the last question, Romey, what bird do you like the most and why? This is always a difficult question because it depends on almost your mood, what time of day it is, where you are. But I think overwhelmingly over the last few years I've settled on this question, and it's the Painted Redstart, a beautiful black, white, and red bird that is native to Texas, but only in the high elevations of West Texas and the Sky Islands and the high elevations of the mountain canyons. I like this bird because I'm not only a sucker for the combination of black, red, and white, but because where this bird occurs in West Texas, and because it's part of a conservation landscape, each of these mountain ranges that this bird occurs within has significant conservation investments, whether it's Big Bend National Park in the Chisos, the Davis Mountains, or the Guadalupe Mountains National Park. I think that the bird is both gorgeous and that the habitat that it relies upon is an important part of the quality of life for all Texans, because we have access to at least two of those mountains in the Chisos through our national park in Big Bend and the Guadalupe Mountains National Park. So with that, there's 3 questions answered. I'm looking forward to seeing more questions and bringing my team together to answer them. We will aim to post these Ask Audubon Texas videos every other week, and please hit the like button and throw some questions our way. We enjoy the opportunity to engage with folks, while right now we don't necessarily have the opportunity to engage in person out in the field. Thank you.